Hey, what's going on, guys? The Horror Man back with the next review of the Terror in the Isles challenge. This time, Jason and I watched An American Werewolf in London. I see a bad moon arising. An American Werewolf in London is a 1981 horror film, written and directed by John Landis. The infamous transformation scene is featured in Terror in the Isles. In fact, it's even featured in the television cut of Terror in the Isles, but as a watered-down, edited version. An American Werewolf in London follows two American college students on a walking tour in England. There's David, played by David Naughton, and Jack, played by Griffin Dunn. The two hitch a ride from a man driving a pickup truck filled with lamb. When he drops them off, he warns them to stick to the road and not to go near the moors. They agree and continue their journey. That's when they come across a pub called The Slaughtered Lamb. They enter and find that the bar is filled with some bizarre characters. People inside are very standoffish and quiet toward the two students. Maybe it's just because they're Americans. Or maybe it's because of something far more sinister. Before David and Jack leave the Slaughtered Lamb, they are warned once again from the patrons to stick to the road and not to go near the moors. They are also told to beware of the moon. David and Jack think nothing of it. They laugh it off. They don't heed the advice either, and they stray off of the road. Soon they find themselves lost in a desolate area, surrounded by mist. This scene, known as the attack scene, is extremely atmospheric. And that's what happens. Jack is attacked. It appears to be some sort of sheepdog, they think. As Jack is being mutilated by the beast, David runs for his life. When he comes to his senses, though, he turns back and runs toward Jack to try to save him. Unfortunately, it's too late for his friend, and by the time David gets there, Jack is dead. Before David can even realize that, though, he too is attacked. Suddenly, though, gunshots are heard before David is killed too. As David looks to the side of him, he sees a naked, lifeless man filled with bullet holes next to him. 3 weeks later, David wakes up from a coma in a hospital in London. He demands to see Jack, but he is informed that his friend has died. Oddly enough, though, David will be seeing Jack again soon enough. Jack begins appearing to David in what at first David believes to be nightmares. It turns out, though, Jack really is visiting David because he is lost in between life and death in limbo. He informs David that they were attacked by a werewolf. With that werewolf killed, David is now the last one left after having been attacked. On the next full moon, David will transform. But if he is killed, victims of the werewolf can finally rest in peace. David just thinks he's going crazy, and the doctor treating him believes he's experiencing trauma. The local police, on the other hand, seem to be involved in some sort of cover-up. According to them, Jack and David were attacked by an escaped lunatic. David still claims it was some sort of animal, however. Meanwhile, Alex Price, David's nurse, played by Jenny Agutter, who is absolutely beautiful in this, develops an attraction to David. Her feelings are reciprocated, and the two start a relationship. David even begins staying at her place when he's released from the hospital. All the while, he continues to have nightmares and be visited by his dead best friend. When the full moon finally arrives, well, you know what happens. Admittedly, before watching An American Werewolf in London for this challenge, I was never as big of a fan as most others. I have to say now, that completely changed. I fucking love this movie. It's so much fun. I have no idea why I never loved this as much before. I very much enjoyed soaking up the scenery. There is so much atmosphere in An American Werewolf in London. It's that damn mist. The soundtrack is brilliant, featuring all songs including the word moon, such as Blue Moon and Bad Moon Rising. It's so clever. David Naughton is such a sympathetic character as David. Griffin Dunne is super likable as Jack, and I love that every time he appears on screen, he is more and more rotted. By the end of the film, he is just a decayed and decomposed zombie. As I mentioned already, Jenny Agutter as Alex is absolutely gorgeous. She's so sexy in this, and that's something I've always thought. The kills in An American Werewolf in London are very gruesome. At the same time, the humor is genuinely funny. John Landis found the perfect balance of horror and comedy. The movie also has a lot of heart and a truly sad ending. I completely understand why this is a favorite among many. I really did love this time. As a matter of fact, this may eventually become a contender as one of my personal favorites. I now know why so many love it. As opposed to An American Werewolf in Paris, which not a lot of people love. This is the 1997 sequel to An American Werewolf in London, and this movie gets a lot of hate. It's really not that bad though, and it's sort of fun. Not nearly as fun as An American Werewolf in London, of course, but I still recommend checking out An American Werewolf in Paris. What do you think of An American Werewolf in London? Comment below and let me know. And please be sure to check out Jason's review. I see a new review arising soon in the Terror in the Isles challenge. What will it be? Check back to see. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that thumbs up and be kind. Subscribe.